Hi guys, and welcome to Holidays Around the World with the Kamloops Museum and Archives. So this December, we're taking an opportunity to take a look at some of the holidays that happen around this time of year around the world other than Christmas. So today we're going to be looking at Kwanzaa. And before we begin, I would like to just take a moment to acknowledge that we are located on Kamloops Secwepemc territory within the traditional and unceded lands of the Secwepemc Nation. Now, Kwanzaa is a really interesting holiday because it's relatively new. It was actually only established in 1966. So for many of you guys, younger guys in the audience watching, that would be in the lifetime of your grandparents. Or for me, that's in the lifetime of my parents. So that's pretty interesting. It was founded by Dr. Maulana Karenga, who was a professor and chairman of the Black Studies Department at California State University after the Watts riots in Los Angeles. So very much a response to socio-political happenings, things that are happening in the world around us. And the traditions of Kwanzaa incorporate parts of several different African harvest celebrations, or first fruit celebrations, including those of the Ashanti and Zulu. Kwanzaa is actually derived from the Swahili phrase matunda y Kwanzaa, which means first fruits. And families celebrate Kwanzaa in their own way, so it's not a holiday that has, to my research anyways, that has a lot of very strict bindings around it. But celebrations typically include singing and dancing, African drumming, storytelling, poetry reading, and a large traditional meal to be shared by all. There are 7 nights to Kwanzaa, and families will gather on each of the 7 nights. A child will light one of the candles in the kinara, which is a special candle holder associated with Kwanzaa. And then one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa are discussed. And those principles are unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. So Kwanzaa was founded in an effort to bring the Pan-African community together. And unlike many holidays around this time of year, it's not framed around religion. So it's interesting in both those ways. It's a pretty brand new holiday in the grand scheme of things, and it's also not framed around religion. And it also has 7 symbols around Kwanzaa, one of which is mazeo, or the crops. And because Kwanzaa is founded around harvest celebrations, fruit, nuts, and vegetables, these play an important role in celebrations, as does gathering for this large family meal. So in honor of that, today we are going to be working with fruits and vegetables to make stamps. So I'm going to be using an apple, but you can use whatever you happen to have in your fridge. So apples work well, celery, carrots. You probably want to avoid some of the softer fruits. I'd avoid anything too juicy like oranges. Potatoes work particularly well. You can even use them to carve out little stamps and things. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my apple forward here and get ready. So I'm going to cut this guy in half. Now, if you are watching in the audience, please make sure you have an enterprising grown-up to help you with this task of cutting up your fruits and veggies, especially if you are going to be carving things into them. We want everyone to be safe this holiday season. So I've got my apple here cut into 2 halves, and I'm actually going to just cut this one in half again. So I'm going to have 3 different stamps. Now, the colors I'm going to be working with are the traditional colors of Kwanzaa, which are green, red, and black. So I'm going to go ahead and put those onto my palette. And you're going to want to give yourself a fair amount of paint. If you don't have any paint in the house, you can feel free to make your own using cornstarch, and a little bit of food coloring works pretty well. So go ahead and pour out some green. And some red. Go. So you want to make sure you set out enough paint that you'll be able to dip your whole stamp in it. And some black. There we go. All right, so I'm going to start with this great big stamp, and I think I'm going to start with the color green. So here we go. Get my apple nice and painty. And we are just going to be making a fairly abstract art piece today. If you want to try to make like a snowman or maybe carve some different shapes into your fruit or vegetable, you are very welcome to do that. You can also share those with us on our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, or even in the comments on YouTube, I suppose. pose as well. So I've got some green apple shapes happening, and you can see here that I'm starting to run out of paint. So my first one was really painty, and now I'm starting to get a little bit less. So I'm going to grab one of my quarter apple slices. I'm going to do the red next, I think, and a little bit less paint than the green. Put on some red. There we go. And the black as well, I'm going to just kind of try to dab the paint off so it doesn't go on quite as heavily as that first green one did. Let's go like this. Give it some black as well. And then I might even try taking my stamp and giving it a couple different colors. So I'll do a little bit of green on one side, maybe a little bit of red in there, and a little bit of the black. And we'll see how that turns out as well. There we go. Yeah, so kind of all those different colors blending together. All right. So if you or your family celebrate Kwanzaa, please feel free to tell us a little bit about some of your traditions, some of the ways that your family celebrates. And of course, if you have made your craft with us today, please feel free to share with us and show us how yours turned out. We'd love to see them. And thank you so much for joining me. We are going to be talking about some other holidays coming up this month, so please do tune in again next time. Thank you so much for joining me. See you next time.